The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Fremantle.
Deputy Speaker, everyone in Australia has a heartfelt interest in the social and economic well-being of farming communities, and I acknowledge the long-term commitment to that cause from the member for Grey, from other speakers in the debate, the member for O'Connor. There's no question that Australia's high-quality and sustainable agricultural output is of vital importance to our nation. It has to be valued and it has to be supported. That's a core responsibility of government and of everyone in this place. But that responsibility is not exercised by ignoring reality or by denying the truth or by pretending that massive, obvious change is not underway and that massive change needs to be properly and responsibly managed. Deputy Speaker, if anyone wants an example of massive, obvious change, it would be very hard to go past the fact that over the last 20 years the live sheep trade has declined by more than 90%. If that's not an example of deep and categorical change, if that's not an example
has the call and
of deep and categorical decline, I'll go he. And fortunately, across the same period, Deputy Speaker, the trade in chilled and frozen lamb and sheep meat has grown by 369%. And if you want to talk about lamb alone, Australian chilled and frozen meat exports have increased by 532%. Deputy Speaker, in 2022-23, chilled and frozen sheep meat exports earned $4.5 billion, compared to $85 million for live sheep exports in the same period, so that we know that a chaotic, unstable and inhumane trade has declined by more than 90%, and it's been replaced by a stable, humane, higher value and higher jobs form of sheep meat exports that is already worth 58 times more than the trade it is virtually replaced. One is going like this and the other is going like that. That is change, and it's government's responsibility to manage sensible change and not to misrepresent the truth to rural and regional communities. So while that has occurred, while that massive decline, more than 90% has occurred, Deputy Speaker, the sheep flock in Western Australia has remained exactly the same. The wool output has remained exactly the same, and there has been no evidence of broader economic impacts or job losses. So all those claims about how a 90% decline is going to cause a loss in the wool clip or a loss in the sheep flock in WA, that is in denial of the reality, Deputy Speaker. Indeed, in 2021, which was probably the lowest year ever for the live sheep trade, WA wheat sheep farms were found to be the most profitable of their kind in the world. And that report by Meat and Livestock Australia found that our farmers were, and I quote, the most efficient, diversified and low-cost producers of sheep meat in the world, and that, and I quote, sheep farmers in Australia have a high level of confidence in the medium to long-term profitability of the industry. That is a good thing. That is excellent. We should celebrate that. It's a reality that that is the case with a more than 90% decline in the live sheep trade. That is a reality of a transition to a higher value, higher jobs sheep meat export trade. Hallelujah, hallelujah. But unfortunately, the marginal and unnecessary live sheep trade is continuing to produce animal welfare crises, and we've just seen that with the MV Bahija. And contrary to what industry apologists say, the SCAS system has not been effective, sadly, in eliminating instances of terrible animal cruelty, simply because it's impossible to eliminate cruelty altogether from a trade where that is an inherent risk and a recurrent reality. In fact, only last year we again saw shocking footage on the ABC of Australian sheep, legs bound together, being dragged alive across concrete, being put in the back of cars, being taken away for agonising backyard slaughter. Deputy Speaker, I agree with the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, the member for Farrer, who made her views quite clear in saying that live sheep trade involved, and I quote the member for Farrer, an operating model built on the suffering of animals. The Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party brought her own private member's bill to end the trade because, in her view, and again I quote, this trade in sheep is a shame and a stain on our international reputation. And never forget that the previous government, the coalition government, contrary to what the member for Grey said about looking to improve standards and looking to increase protections, the previous government took steps to weaken the regulation of this industry, cheered on by some of the industry players, sadly, some of the farmer representatives group, which then paved the way for further animal welfare atrocities like the Awassi Express. Deputy Speaker, we know there's been a serious and proper engagement from the farming community in WA as part of the consultation process that has been carried out under this government and under Minister Watt. Many have put forward constructive ideas and proposals to assist with the transition by looking at domestic processing capacity, new and expanded market opportunities and assistance with planning investment. That's the sensible and reasonable and humane way forward, out of the live sheep export trade.